coming to take control. Extra, read all about it. Evidence coming to take control. Lock and load, steal souls and watch it explode. Dispatch the death squad and watch it go. Serial killers, cadavers, murderous psychos. As the hour goes, it takes the time. Expires as we live dead, revitalized. Surprised by the high with red still in our eyes. The pleasure is all ours to give you the power. This is the maniacal hour.
You know, it's funny, Jimmy T, because right before we started recording, I was like, I got to find the thumbnail for this week. I got to have that opening graphic before we roll the intro video. And immediately my brain went, holy crap, what was the lead story of this week? And obviously looking back in hindsight, it's clearly Jon Moxley's return to AEW, but there has been so much happening inside of the world of professional wrestling that nothing really is standing out. Like, it feels like not even just inside of AEW, just inside of the WWE, inside of New Japan, inside of Stardom. It feels like Vince Russo is writing the entire professional wrestling world. Like, it's Crash TV across all the different companies as we get, the big returns coming in AEW, WWE getting ready for Rumble season. We've got the golden anniversary kicking off in New Japan, Stardom still kicking ass around all the freaking world. Like, it's crazy right now, but there's not that lead popping story. It's got to be Moxley, right?
100% Moxley. But it's funny how you brought up Vince Russo and saying like he's booking all of professional wrestling, because it's funny. I've been saying that for about a year, that I think Russo's booking everything pretty much as well. I mean, it is Crash TV, dude, especially in WWE and AEW.
Yeah, especially, and I think people kind of get what Crash TV is wrong. Crash TV is just, there's something going on every single segment. Everybody on the show has a story. Everything is intertwined. It's very, very well woven, right? Whereas like WCW, when I talked to Bischoff, 1.5 things. Every episode of Nitro was about 1.5 things. You're doing whatever you're doing this week and setting something up for next week. That's all Nitro was for the full 2 hours, where Russo's version was, no, bro, we got something going on every segment, bro. And it was just absolute freaking craziness and mayhem. And as we head into the Royal Rumble, that's kind of where you want pro wrestling to be, right? New Japan's coming off of Wrestle Kingdom, so things kind of take a little bit of a dive there, but WWE ramps things up for the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania season. AEW's kind of in this weird holding pattern until we get to Revolution, but it feels like they're about ready to start ramping things up. There's just so much going on inside of the world of pro wrestling right now.
A lot is going on, but is it really that great though? What's going on? That's the problem though, Jago. There's a lot of things that just seem weird, and I don't know where things are going. Like, for example, Roland's mentioning Jon Moxley on SmackDown. Like, where are we going with that? You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
or
man,
the Cody promo.
Time. All the Cody promo, right? Absolutely. And again, there's rumors of him appearing in the Rumble, but like you said, on Uncaged, you hardly doubt it. No. And I think I'm starting to lean towards the doubtful side too, but you never know.
That just seems absurd to me. Like that's even a conversation going on inside of the pro wrestling world at this point. Just feels absolutely absurd to me. Even a year ago, that wouldn't seem nearly as absurd, because we had the Triple H component. We're going to talk about NXT a little bit later on. And, there's some word coming out that maybe WWE's a little disappointed in NXT 2.0. Right. We'll get into all that. I do want to start with Moxley. I want to start with Moxley's promo. And I kind of want to talk about Cody's promo too. It was like, it was the best of promos. It was the worst of promos on AEW this week. The Moxley promo I thought was really, really freaking good. I know Bully Ray has come out and made some comments and about how Moxley should be apologizing to the fans. That's just not Jon Moxley. That's not the Jon Moxley character. I think that would be appropriate in some context, like, Jeff Hardy, but I don't think that works for the Jon Moxley character. I absolutely enjoyed the hell out of the promo. And I feel like after reading Jon Moxley's book, I feel like I understand Moxley a whole lot more. Moxley was always my least favorite member of the Shield. I was never a Dean Ambrose fan. I think he ranks right up there with Diesel as the worst WWE champions of all time. I mean, and it's just because the creative was absolute crap. He wasn't having good matches. He didn't seem into it. The WWE championship did not feel like the main event. And that's why Brock Lesnar didn't want to work with Dean Ambrose. It felt beneath Brock Lesnar, and he was right. Now I feel like I understand Moxley a bit more. And I think a large part of that is because he's not scripted. So you get these kind of train of thought consciousness promos out of Jon Moxley that, it's like, what the hell is he talking about? And then he kind of somehow brings it all back around and back together. That's very much the way his book is too. It's written as like a stream of consciousness, and it's very, very odd, but I feel like I understand Moxley a bit more now. I saw a picture, Jimmy T, of Moxley right before he left and Moxley when he returned. Moxley looks great. He killed that promo. I can't wait to see what he's going to do with Danielson, which we'll talk about here in just a minute.
Well, man, it's interesting. You talk about his book being all over the place kind of thing. I mean, just look at, remember that Stone Cold podcast with Ambrose or Moxley, whatever you want to call him? I felt from that point on, he killed himself. Like that Dean Ambrose character was dead after that. And it wasn't long after that he lost the WWE title. But man, in saying that, I'm happy for Moxley. I didn't know he was an alcoholic, first of all, man. So that came out of nowhere, literally. And it makes sense.
Are you surprised by that?
No, not at all.
I mean, think of the Moxley character, like, and even the person that I assume resides behind that character. It's just like, yeah, that seems par for the course,
Well, I'm surprised he wasn't on any drugs, man, to be honest with you, because his upbringing was pretty bad, if I recall, man. I mean,
in Ohio at that time, especially. I mean, the opioid crisis still hitting Ohio pretty hard.
Well, wasn't I think his mother, wasn't she on hard drugs, man, or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, and it seems like that's kind of Ohio at that point. And it seems like a lot of people in that Ohio scene turned to professional wrestling at that point, kind of as a therapy outside of that. And it's worked out really, really well for guys from, Sami Callihan and what him and his boys were doing over in Impact Wrestling. Cody Hawk's freaking legend. That whole like Heartland Wrestling Association area. Shout out to RBV and the OHIO.
Absolutely.
I mean, RBV says that's the absolute heartbeat of professional wrestling in the United States. And 2022 is kind of hard to dispute that, man. There's a lot of talent from that area.
Well, shout outs to Ohio, because I've got my first cousins from Ohio, man. So shout outs to Tonya and everybody else. But yeah, man, so I've got a soft spot for Ohio. I'll give him that much. But yeah, I mean, calling it the epicenter of professional wrestling, I don't know. But like you said, it's 2022, so who knows?
I mean, look at OVW, man, and everything they had going on coming up through that area. It's pretty crazy.
No, absolutely, man. And like I said, and back to Moxley, like he's had it hard, he's had it tough. But man, I'm glad he's healthy. He looks good. I do think he's a little bit too skinny in a way, especially with, I don't know if he's trying to like sort of, his hair, like he's got too much like chest hair, man. He needs to like chop that down. But I just hope he puts on a bit more muscle mass, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of a bit closer to what he was when he first came back inside of the WWE with the shorter hair, and nobody really kind of knew that Ambrose was coming back. Like that was a great, and he just looks svelte. It was,
I know, true.
It was quite the body transformation. On the other hand, we had Cody, and Cody comes out and cuts these huge, epic, long, all over the place promos. And I think I finally kind of figured out what it is about Cody that's pissing me off when it comes to these promos. He speaks too meta. Like he pulls back the curtain too far. Like, this is the part in the promo where I tell you, and it's like, that which is understood does not need to be stated. And I think that's kind of Cody's problem at this point. Everything is being overstated. I know you watch on Fight TV. So
Right.
when we get the picture in picture, you just stay with the footage, right? So
Absolutely. With the sound and everything. Like, I mean, everything.
so the way this worked on American TV, Cody comes out, they do like his little entrance theme, and then they go to picture in picture. And it's like, a 3-minute break of Cody walking around and setting up this ladder. And so he finally gets the ladder all set up. We come back to Cody. He cuts like a 10-minute promo and doesn't even reference the ladder.
True.
He's cutting
I forgot about the
promos.
ladder, actually.
He's cutting promos on everybody inside of the company. It's like he's trying to attach like himself to everybody else's heat at this point. And I really, really dislike that. Like, he's out there trying to cut a pipe bomb, and he's even referencing CM Punk. He's talking about how Punk said he wanted to do all these things. Cody's like, well, I freaking did them. And it's like,
Yeah.
this felt like a heel promo to me from Cody, especially when he says, you want to know why I won't turn heel? Like, that's the most heel thing to say, right? Like, at this point, I feel like Cody's character is just a completely delusional babyface, which makes him a heel.
Absolutely makes him a heel. I mean, to the point where he was even twitching, if you know what I mean. He was twitching, dude, which is very heelish. The way he was doing it, you know, that Cody heel style of twitching, whatever he does. And also, if you pay attention to his hair, he's growing out his hair. You can see the black roots. You know what it means when he's doing that. He's definitely turning full-blown heel with the darker hair, you know, and all that stuff. But Cody's so full of himself, man. I'm convinced this wasn't really the intention they were going for, but he has to like sort of go there, in my opinion, which he is.
I feel like Cody is trying to create the ultimate tweener. Like, so much so that his entrance comes out right between the heel and babyface entrance.
That's actually
like,
true.
I feel like he's trying to become the ultimate tweener. And in order for that to work, he has to win the undisputed TNT championship against Sammy Guevara inside of a ladder match, which he will, which actually adds to the Cody character. Right. But then you can position him against both baby faces and heels, depending on who wants to challenge for the TNT championship. Cody is going for the ultimate tweener character. The problem is he's just a delusional babyface, which in my mind makes him a heel.
Absolutely, dude. And Cody's a character, man. Like, to me, like, there's no one like him. Like, he's trying to do the John Cena sort of thing, right? But the problem with doing the John Cena thing, it doesn't work with him, man. You know what I mean? Cena was able to just, you know, go straight through all that shit and just keep going, you know? And that was part of his gimmick in the end. But with Cody, like you said, he's so delusional, right? He truly thinks he's King Dick, pretty much. Let's be honest.
He thinks he's Triple H. I mean, like, I feel like the Cody character is Triple H and the Brandy character is Stephanie McMahon.
Ugh, but a real dumbed out version of Stephanie McMahon, dude. Let's be honest. She just can't fucking do it, bro. Like, I just don't think she's a natural heel in terms the people just can hate on her right off the bat, right?
She's a natural heel in the respect that she has absolutely zero redeeming qualities.
That's what I'm saying. Other than
as a character, there's nothing to like about Brandy Rhodes, other than the way she looks in her gear.
That's it. That's the only thing, dude. Really, the only thing. And Cody, man, like I said, I don't know where this is fully going. If he's going to do the Ultimate Tweener, so basically he's turning into Bret Hart then, because I felt like he was the biggest tweener in professional wrestling. When you really think about it, he was a heel in the US. He was a babyface everywhere else around the world.
I think they're kind of trying to do that with Bullet Club right now, which is a little weird, because I had a source at the Impact tapings that GOD and Jay White were at last night. And he said Bullet Club was working straight babyface on that show. And it's like, so are we going for Bullet Club or baby faces in the States and heels in Japan? Are we really going to try to do the Bret Hart, like Hart Foundation? I don't think that's going to work. Not with those guys.
No chance. Especially with GOD, man. Come on.
Yeah. Right?
Even Jay White. I mean, seriously. He's a natural heel, man. They're all natural heels.
There was an event, Insurgents maybe, where God was on the show, and it was the Los Angeles show, the most recent one. And
Right.
God comes out babyface, like freaking too sweet in the crowd, slapping hands with fans. And it's just like, this is weird. This is weird. Like full
Well,
on bizarro world.
well, essentially the NWO was kind of tweeners too, man. I mean, they were that cool that everybody loved them, but there were places where they absolutely hated them too. You know what I mean? So I see what they're trying.
Shout out to The Office.
Yes. Shout outs to the world's best boss. You, Jago, the world's best boss.
Somehow I manage.
The El Patron of podcasting.
Let's talk about Danielson. We commented on Uncaged that, you know, we hadn't seen Bryan Danielson since he lost to Hangman Page for the AEW World Championship. That was his first loss inside of AEW, if I remember correctly.
I believe it was.
And now Dickhead Danielson is back. And it looks like we're going to get Danielson versus Moxley. I'm trying to reason this out in my brain ever since we saw this on Friday night, Jimmy, because I don't feel like either one of these guys can lose right now. Like Moxley just coming back, Hangman kind of floundering as champion right now. He's in the program with Lance Archer. Yeah, that's cool. But he doesn't feel like your main babyface character on the show. He's not coming out and cutting 15-minute promos at the beginning of the show. I feel like Jon Moxley is that guy right now. Moxley is your lead babyface. Danielson is your top dog, carry the microphone, dickhead heel that can go inside of the ring. I don't see where either one of these guys can afford to take a loss right now. And I'm terrified that we are just going to try to course correct and go back to where we were before Moxley went out and they try to pull a double turn inside of this thing. I do not want Bryan Danielson turning babyface. I do not want Jon Moxley turning heel. I know the temptation is there, Tony Khan. Get you right back where you were before Moxley went to rehab, but don't do it. Don't do it. It's not the time to do it.
Man, first of all, Moxley's got the story like of redemption. You know what I'm saying?
It reminds me of when Seth Rollins returned at Extreme Rules. Yep. And he returns at Extreme Rules. The place pops huge. He's super over as a babyface. He comes out on Monday Night Raw and shits all over all the fans.
I didn't mind that at the time. And it was like,
what are you doing? But it set Seth Rollins' career back like 4 years.
It's true. You're right, man. It's true. But he's a natural dickhead too, if you know what I'm saying. Oh,
he is a natural dickhead, but he was also your lead babyface when you needed a lead babyface, and you turned him heel night 2.
And the crowd popped when he did that.
Huge.
Dude. It's true.
Huge.
You're right, but that's the problem with professional wrestling, it seems, Jago. No one wants to strike while the iron's hot. They want to do the friggin' opposite.
That's when they should have turned Roman. When Seth came back from that injury, he was super over as a babyface. You should have went with Rollins as the babyface, Roman as the heel, and the company would have been so much further along at this point.
Friggin' Vince, dude. But back to Danielson.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. That's right. Don't do it, TK, because that is just dumb. And it sets back Danielson, in my opinion, a few steps back.
And you don't have time to do that with Danielson.
No. Keep him as the dickhead Dan that we all know and love, right? Let him be an absolute prick. Let him pour friggin' alcohol in Moxley's mouth for all I care, right? I mean, come on. That's a statement, right? I know it's been done a million times, but in this context.
I guess my question is, how personal do you want this thing to get? And does it need to be personal? Because it also feels like these are the two biggest badasses inside of AEW right now. Like, can't they just go out there and have a fight?
Nah, they can't, unfortunately, man. Because Moxley doesn't compliment Danielson in that sort of way, if that makes any sense. If Moxley was someone like a Andrade, say, in terms of his in-ring work, sure, you could do that. But in this case, you know, Moxley's always got a purpose, man. For Moxley to be over, he needs a purpose. He needs something to sort of concentrate on. And this is it. So I think they should go full-blown feud. Don't let it be just some 1 week, 2 week thing, in my opinion anyway. That's just me.
The thing that's scary about that for me is if you get Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson into a blood feud.
They're going to kill each other.
Yeah. And that's kind of scary to think about. With those two talents specifically, that's kind of scary to think about.
Well, put it this way, dude. I was watching Moxley's GCW matches recently.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe he's even doing that shit still. Like he's back in CZW back in the day before he even got his run. I know he loves it. But come on, dude.
But I can see that being a checkbox for Danielson too.
You think?
And I don't think I want to
say
see
that.
Daniel. I don't think I want to see Danielson
God,
in
no,
that kind of environment.
Hell no. I would hate to see that. Talk about cringe. Nah, if he's thinking that way, he's got issues, man. He's got a death wish, literally.
Well, it is Bryan Danielson. I mean, you know.
Hey, I know he's tough, man, but he's got to think.
He doesn't have to prove that he's tough. That's the thing. But
that's
like
right.
to Bryan, he does. And that's the thing I don't understand about Bryan Danielson. Like, bro, you've proved everything.
I know.
Over the course of the years, you have everybody in this business's respect. That's
absolutely
part of the reason it's difficult making you a heel. But right now, you're killing it. And if you let Moxley go out there and murder you inside of an AEW ring, all it's going to do is turn you babyface and turn Moxley heel. And I don't think now is the time to do that.
Well, that's exactly why this matchup is silly to begin with right now. I know they want to just get through what it was meant to be. It was meant to be the tournament matchup that them two were supposed to face each other. But why did they have to do it the second Moxley is back, man? You know what I mean? And the fact that they've kept Danielson off television for a few weeks, I think sets him back big time, man.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean?
Well, and I mean, he just lost. He just lost
right.
to Hangman. So, I mean, I'm interested to see where Bryan takes this. Like, is he going to try to get personal with Moxley, or is this simply going to be, listen, I lost the AEW championship match against Hangman Page. I realize I have to prove myself. And in order to prove myself, I'm going after the baddest motherfucker in the yard. And clearly the baddest motherfucker in the yard is Jon Moxley. Like, I'm fine with that for right now. Like, if you want to give me a more personal feud between the two down the road, cool. I just don't feel like now is the timing for it.
Right. It's interesting, man, because I don't know where they're going to go, but knowing TK and AEW, they're going to go into it like a blood feud, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, just going by the way they've been booking lately, come on, man. You definitely know they're going to go down that route.
Let's touch on Punk and MJF. I was a little disappointed this week. CM Punk versus Shawn Spears, I believe, is the holder of the shortest match inside of AEW.
Is it?
I believe so. When you look at the record books, you know how long it took CM Punk to beat Shawn Spears?
15 seconds. Oh no, you're kidding.
10.
No.
10.
That was obviously designed to,
if Punk doesn't put that in his promo this week on Dynamite, I'm going to be sadly disappointed.
Oh. God.
But so now the stage is set, Jimmy, and I don't know if MJF knows it or not, but CM Punk dropped the bomb, and for some reason, nobody's talking about it. In 2 weeks, we're going to be in Chicago.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
I know. Funny how that works out, right? Crazy. It's almost like somebody planned it that way.
Oh, really?
But CM Punk said in his promo, I've beaten FTR. I've beat Wardlow. I've beaten Shawn Spears. And now MJF, it looks like you're going to have to fight CM Punk in the one place you don't want to fight CM Punk. Where is that, ladies and gentlemen? Chicago. This shit's going to happen in Chicago. CM Punk, hometown. Jimmy, the right booking. He's looking at the fucking lights.
He's losing, bro.
He's looking at the fucking lights.
He's looking at the fucking lights, man. If they don't go that fucking way.
That's the right booking here. It absolutely is.
It has to be done, man. And if CM Punk doesn't actually open his mouth and actually say that to the booking committee, whoever it is, I'd be bitterly disappointed. He's selfish. If that's the case. If they're gonna stretch out this feud to say double or nothing, you need MJF to win this match, no doubt.
MJF has to go over Punk in Chicago.
Has to.
Bobo in the chat room, shout out to him. This Punk MJF feud feels just like Jericho 5 Greek Pillars angle all over again. I 100% completely agree. I think this is the second or third time that we've done this. You got to go all the way through all the guys in the Pinnacle, and then you finally get to fight MJF. You're right. It's absolutely tired. But the nice part is we didn't realize it going into it. It wasn't established. That's just kind of how it's worked out. But I was kind of irritated, Jimmy. I was looking forward to Shawn Spears versus CM Punk. I know those two guys could go out and tear the freaking house down. I'm really frustrated with the booking of Shawn Spears.
That makes two of us.
I think I've always been higher on Shawn Spears than a lot of people have, but man, I just feel like he could be being used so much better inside of AEW right now.
Dude, it's no secret. I'm a big Shawn Spears fan, all the way back to his Ty Dillinger days. And man, I've always said this. I've said it on the skirmish. I said it probably on Uncaged too, and I'm going to say it on the blow off. What has this guy done to deserve this, man?
Right?
It's almost like he's blackballed without being blackballed, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
It's almost like he's one of those guys who can get himself over without winning matches, which is a great asset. Absolutely. But then they just book him to lose all the fucking time, and it's maddening to me.
And dude, and you know what's funny, man? When I was seeing him come out to the ring, right, during his entrance, I realized how good he was, even just by walking out.
Dude, the entrance music is great.
Right, everything.
His promo is great. He looks great. He can go in the ring. Like,
come on, man.
What's even when he was with Ty Dillinger, other than the push?
And it's not that's it. That's all it is, dude.
And now the same thing with Shawn Spears. Like, they did a road to AEW Dynamite, which unfortunately I didn't see until after AEW Dynamite. They do a terrible job of promoting that stuff.
Well, they don't even promote it.
It's like a pre-tape Shawn Spears promo, and he absolutely freaking kills it. Absolutely kills it with the full like video package and everything. And they just do nothing with it. Drives me insane.
Is it him being a team player, too much of a team player, or just they don't see it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, and I think part of it is you've brought in guys like Adam Cole and CM Punk and Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. And I know, but every time you bring one of those guys in, Shawn Spears gets pushed a little bit further down the card. And now you've had guys like Darby Allin elevated, Wardlow, MJF, Jungle Boy.
Right. But I dare say he's got more charisma than most of those guys, man.
Oh, agreed.
I'm being straight up. Like, I'm talking about more charisma than Jungle Boy. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah. No,
he's definitely got more charisma than pretty much a lot of guys, right? He should be in the TNT Championship picture at the very least.
He should at least have some kind of credibility. And I don't feel like he does. That's the problem. He just doesn't even feel like a credible opponent at this point.
How do you do that to him? I will never figure it out. And the thing is, he's in prominent sort of storylines, but not exactly at the same time. It's like he's there, and he's probably all right with... It's almost like an illusion, dude. He seems a lot better than what they book him as, but really he's total trash.
Yeah, very much
so. You know what I mean?
Let's shift. Let's talk a little bit about NXT. And NXT 2.0. There are some words out on the street, Jimmy, that WWE not happy with NXT 2.0 and the way things are going. They thought the ratings would be higher. They thought that the fans would take more to these new upstart characters. What the hell were they thinking? I don't.
I got it. I know exactly what's going on, Jago.
What's going on?
They're going to rename it, dude. It's bad enough that they had to change everything about Triple H's NXT. Well, Vince is going to go one further, man. You know what he's going to do? He's going to scrap the NXT 2.0 name and call it the Next Generation, baby.
Well, they do already have that NIL thing, too, which is a terrible play on what the NCAA is doing with name, image, and likeness. Inside of a WWE context, they call it next in line.
Right.
So, which is where they kind of got Gable Stevenson and whatnot. But I don't know, man.
I'm telling you.
I still have not watched an episode of NXT 2.0.
Really?
They're not putting out anything that I want to see.
It's not too bad, to be fair. It's actually not as bad as people think.
The only thing that I tuned in for War Games. I was not impressed by the new NXT champion Braun Breaker. I mean, I see video clips on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter as I'm surfing the cesspool that is Twitter. I don't see anything going on there that feels like it's anything I need to watch.
Oh, look, I'm going to have to disagree there a little bit there, Jugger. I think Braun Breaker is definitely the next big thing. The guy is literally exactly like Scott and Rick Steiner, dude. I mean, seriously, he's jacked like Scott. He even looks probably more like Scott, but you could tell he's Rick's kid also. Dude, he's pretty athletic, man. For a guy that's only been wrestling for like a year, he gets it, man. I think he'll be a big deal.
He'll be as big of a deal as Vince feels like pushing him to be. I mean,
I think Vince sees it in him, dude. 100%. The good thing, look, there's one positive thing about Vince's run NXT. At least you know if he thinks you're a star in NXT, you think once they get to the main roster, they're not going to get screwed around like all of Triple H's guys have been over the years. You think.
Well, and you know what doesn't help is when they do stupid shit like rename Walter to Gunther. Now, I'm not upset about the name Gunther. I'm fine with that. I'm upset that they're renaming Walter to begin with, because Walter is why go against the machine? Walter is one of those names that before he was even signed with the WWE, there was enough buzz around Walter that the WWE fans at least had heard of him. He was getting mainstream without being inside of the WWE context. Absolutely. He's been with the company for years at this point. He was the longest reigning champion inside of the company for years at this point with the NXT UK championship. He's been on SmackDown before when half of the freaking roster was stuck in, country name redacted.
Right.
Like it's not like you're just introducing him to the audience and nobody knows who this guy is. It's not like you're bringing in MSK and renaming them. People know who the fuck Walter is. If you would have done this 3 years ago when you signed him, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Right. True.
But now to do it is just a slap in the fan's face. And it's little slaps in the face like this that eventually fans say, you know what? Screw it. I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore. And this is just another example. I'm not upset with the name. I'm upset that this is even a conversation and they're changing the name.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're spot on, man. And he was a big deal before WWE. Everybody was getting to know who Walter was. And the thing is, how long has he been with WWE for now? 3 years?
Like 3 years.
Right. He was Walter all this time just for them to change it to Gunther Starks, was it originally? Or something like that?
Right. And you know what? Upon further research, I'm going to give WWE a pass on this whole Gunther Stark thing. I was really, really torn if this was intentional or if it was just, one of those freak accident things. But when you really look up who this Gunther Stark dude was, he was a fucking nobody.
I mean,
if they would have
out of proportion,
if they would have named him like Heinrich Himmler, then I would have a bit of an issue. But you look up this fucking Gunther Stark dude. He died when he was like 27. He had 2 missions. Like he was literally a fucking nobody. This was the IWC just. Oh, look at I gotta get my fucking fire breathing Twitter machine going. And it's just. I'm giving them a pass on this one. And at least they dropped the Stark thing as soon as they found out about it. Now it's just Gunther, which is actually better because it's closer to Walter. I just wish they would have done it 3 fucking years ago.
I know. That's true, man. It's dumb. It's just like War Machine, dude. Same kind of deal. You know what I mean? They went from War Machine to the War Raiders to the Viking Raiders, dude. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So now we went from Walter for 3 years to Gunther Starks to Gunther. Thank God they don't call him Dolphy.
So I had this service for my TV provider,
Right.
and I can't get a hold of them. Like, my subscription was up and I'm trying to get a hold of them to pay my bill because there's an issue with their PayPal.
Right.
And it wasn't working. So in the meantime, while I'm waiting to hear back from this name redacted company, I have YouTube TV. And it works great. I'm actually really, really impressed with YouTube TV. This is not an inset ad.
Yeah.
But so I tuned into SmackDown this week, and I actually watched SmackDown. I'm like, it's a week before the Rumble. Let's kind of tune in, see what the temperature is, what's going on SmackDown. And I saw the artist formerly known as War Machine, and I was embarrassed for them. I mean, I love freaking Hanson and Rowe, like War Machine, that one of my favorite tag teams on the independent scene going back several years. The wars that they had with guys like Red Dragon were absolutely fantastic. And I just feel like they have become caricatures of themselves, and like this walking around, doing this bullshit, beating on your fucking chest. And it's just like,
they might as well be doing this, dude.
Oh,
that's what they should be doing. They're licking people's faces, bro, in this COVID era. Man, seriously, they're the bushwhackers right now.
And
the bushwhackers were even more over than these guys.
Oh my God. Yeah. The Bushwhackers is a great comparison, because you go back and watch the freaking sheep herders, you would not believe that they became the Bushwhackers.
Absolutely. Violent savages, bro. Yeah.
Crazy. Let's talk about the Rumble a little bit. So going down at the Rumble, we've got some championship matches, and we got the 2 Rumble matches. Only 6 matches advertised for this show, and that makes me kind of happy. Jimmy T, I don't know what you want to do next week with the pay-per-view being on Saturday. Do you want? Yeah, the pay-per-view is on Saturday. It seems like they're really making this change, and I'm totally down with that. So do you want to do blow off on Sunday so we can talk about the Rumble afterwards?
I think it would be silly not to do that, dude.
Okay, well, then we have to talk about the Rumble this week
and
kind of figure out who we think is going to win this thing. I guess we'll start off with, the mixed tag match that nobody cares about. Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Miz and Maurice. I'm not watching Raw. I just see video clips. I feel like this is just so Edge and Beth can, put a check in the box that say we work together on national TV, and Miz and Maurice are just put opposite of them. It is what it is, right?
He's the cheesiest friggin' feud
it's crap.
I've ever seen.
This is sports entertainment crap.
That's right, pal.
I guess the real issue is this a good way to be using Edge? I mean, like, shouldn't Edge be like one of the people on the short list of people we think is going to win the Royal Rumble inside of this? Like, how many stars do they have that are bigger than Edge on the roster at this point? And you got him in a mixed tag match?
WWE for you, dude. I mean, this is crazy, bro. I mean, maybe it's Edge's idea just to appease his missus in Beth Phoenix. But it could be just that. Look, the Miz and Maurice are naturally great together. They just... Oh, yeah. They complement each other perfectly.
Maurice elevates that act so much. It's insane.
100%, dude. Whereas Beth Phoenix and Edge come across as that cheesy sort of, I don't know, man. Like, it's embarrassing almost, And it's more because of Beth than Edge, if anything. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. They're going to give Edge and Beth their win, and off through the sunset they go, dude.
It's like they think that Beth Phoenix was a much bigger star than she actually was. No offense. I mean, she just, she just wasn't. Becky Lynch versus Doudrop.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Becky just wins this, right? Like, I mean, like, and this is one of my problems with WWE booking is Doudrop has basically been afterthought to the Eva Marie character, but she's still around, and she's lost a bunch of matches, but she won 1 match, and so now it's her turn to get a title shot against Becky and lose, while we just kind of bide time for Bianca Belair until we get to WrestleMania. Like, I feel like that's just the plan right now.
I mean, Doudrop's going to be released, say, in about 2-3 months anyway. Let's be honest, right? Seriously.
I mean, I'm totally fine with that because I mean, I'm not a huge Piper Niven fan, but I mean, she's way better than what she's getting done right now.
She was better when she was Piper than she is a dude drop, whatever she says. I mean, seriously.
She was better when she was Viper than when she was Piper.
Perfectly put, dude. I mean, like I said, man, this is going to go nowhere. Don't be surprised if this match goes for 5 minutes, dude.
You think it goes that long? Good God.
Probably.
It's going to be a long 5 minutes.
Oh, big time. And literally big time. Yeah, this sucks, dude. What sort of card have we got already just to open up Royal Rumble?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Edge and Beth Phoenix versus The Miz and Maurice, Becky Lynch versus Doudrop, and then we have the 2 Rumble matches and the 2 title matches: Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley, and Roman Reigns versus Seth freaking Rollins. And I feel like Roman versus Rollins opens. Because I feel like the Royal Rumble is the Roman Reigns show. Like, he loses the title in the first match. He comes back and wins the Rumble. He smashes everybody. And then at the end of the show, he confronts Brock Lesnar for the championship. Like, I feel like this is the Roman Reigns show.
That's probably exactly what's going to happen. It just makes total sense, right?
I mean, I bring out R-Truth #1 in the Rumble. Right. And while he's rapping on his way to the ring, a pissed off Roman Reigns, who just got screwed out of the championship by Seth freaking Rollins. He can't beat Seth Rollins, death taxes, and Rollins beats Roman, right? Like, those are the 3 facts in life. Rollins goes over by some tomfuckery. Roman Reigns is pissed. He kills R-Truth before R-Truth can get into the ring. Roman Reigns is #1 in the Rumble, and he smashes everybody. Roman Reigns by himself eliminates 29 other men.
29.
He smashes everybody.
So
that's what he's been saying for months, right? I'm going to smash everybody. Let him go out and smash everybody.
So let me get this right. You're essentially saying, and we did talk about this last week on the Blow Off too, but you're essentially saying we're going to have one-on-one matches all the way through with Roman just
just a series of 2-minute matches. It's basically going to be like, in Japanese pro wrestling, when a star retires, they have like a 60-minute gauntlet match, and it's just a series of like 2-minute matches.
Yeah.
That's what this is going to be. It's going to be, dude comes out, Roman Superman punches that motherfucker and throws his ass over the top rope, and then he stands there and looks at his watch Stone Cold style. Bring out the next motherfucking guy. Right. And then Roman smashes him, and he smashes 29 other dudes. That's the way this Rumble goes. And
29 though.
All 29. Like, let him just go through everyone.
I like it. But one of 2 things is going to happen though, Jago. Either it's going to backfire and he's going to get mega heat, bro, just for like.
Mega heat's what you want, right?
But what are they trying to do? But also, he could get babyface reaction by doing that too.
Well, then you turn Brock with Paul. Like, either way, I feel like this is he either gets mega over as a babyface and people are finally like, you know what? I respect what Roman is doing right now. And people get behind it, or they boo him out of the freaking building, in which case, great.
So it's a win-win, basically.
It's a win-win. Either way you go.
True. And that's funny that I say that, because really it really could go either way. It's either heat or babyface reaction, like strong babyface reaction. And I really don't know which way the fan base will actually lean to, which is interesting.
Yeah. I that's what I would do. I think it'd be great.
You probably will. I mean,
and then when it comes to, you can't do that. It's the Royal Rumble. Okay, well, here's my counter to that. Ronda Rousey wins the Women's Rumble.
And does the same thing, basically.
Well, no, not necessarily. Like, you have a regular Rumble match. It's a good match. Rousey, eliminates Charlotte to win the damn thing. She can go, and then she can challenge Charlotte for that championship. You do that at WrestleMania. You get all the mainstream headlines. It's going to be on TMZ. It's going to be on ESPN. And so the Men's Rumble is really the throwaway match on the show. So you do something that's never been done before, and you have Roman smash everybody.
But I like it. Don't get me wrong, but there could be one negative to this, though. Doesn't that bury the whole friggin' roster though, man?
The whole freaking roster's already buried compared
Yeah.
to Roman Reigns.
Technically, right, but I don't know what type of message that sends to the actual roster too, man.
Well, and especially then you have in the main event, Brock Lesnar squashes Bobby Lashley.
Oh,
He just squashes him. It's a 3-minute match.
Man. Talk about killing Lashley though, doing that. I don't know, dude. You can't.
But so you have the dominant Beast champion. You have the dominant challenger who just buried the entire roster. And that's your main event for WrestleMania.
Damn, talk about. Look, dude,
what the fuck else do they got, Jimmy? I mean, that's the problem. What else do they got? You gonna put over AJ Styles? Like, I mean,
clearly not. They've killed him also in many ways.
So he can go job to either Lesnar or Roman at WrestleMania? Like, where's the intrigue there? Like, I'd love to see AJ win a Rumble, but
me too, absolutely.
There's legitimately nobody on that men's roster that feels like they should win this Rumble, like more so than ever.
Right? No, you're right. And
so you put Seth over at the beginning of the show, and then Roman smashes everybody. It's the Roman Reigns show.
But as far as Lashley goes, I saw a headline where Lashley apparently he was doing an interview. I can't remember with who, but he essentially said that he didn't want to work the match, the 5-way at day one, that pay-per-view, right, where Lesnar interjects himself. He didn't want to work it because of Lesnar interjecting into that main event spot, but eventually they convinced him, and he eventually got his way in many ways by doing some shit to Lesnar, like, you know, spear him through the barricade and whatnot. But really, he was saying, I don't want to be in this match. If Lesnar's going to go over, I don't want to be in this match. But he eventually agreed. So what about if he says, sorry, that don't work for me, brother?
I mean, I feel like this match to me is the bell rings. Lashley gets one up on Lesnar, hits him with the spear, hits him with the finish. Brock kicks out at 1. Lashley can't believe it. Brock catches him with an F5, and that's it. Like, so you try to protect Lashley as much as you possibly can. You put him over very, very strong at the very beginning of the match, and Brock just happens to catch him with an F5, and we all know that once you get hit with an F5, you're dead.
Right, but then you're essentially booking the Goldberg-Lesnar match, dude, all over again. Except this time, you got two guys that are absolute at their peak of their powers, bro. Yep. I don't know if Lashley can afford to have that sort of loss unless he costs Lesnar the title at WrestleMania.
Then let me ask you this. What's better? What I just suggested, or they go out there, they fight for 13 minutes, and then Brock Lesnar gives him an F5 and beats him. Because at least in my scenario, you're protecting Lashley a little bit. Right. Like, Brock just happens to catch him. You put him over strong at the beginning of the match. They go out there and go 50-50 for 13 minutes, and then Brock just plain beats him. Then where does that leave Lashley?
Yeah, no, you're right, man. WWE have really booked themselves into a corner. Even now, I don't think that matchup was the right time. I would have thought this would have been WrestleMania matchup.
Yeah.
It's not, unfortunately. They've done this to themselves, man. So whatever they try to do, it's going to either be bad for business, literally, or, I don't know, it's a real rock and a hard place situation in many ways, Jaga.
Yeah, it really is. Let's talk about Summer Rae. Because
that'd be Legend Summer Rae.
WWE Legend Summer Rae.
God.
And this isn't even necessarily about Summer Rae. This is kind of like the Beth Phoenix thing. Like, do they really think that Summer Rae was that over? Like, do they think that people have like fond memories of Summer Rae?
Absolutely not.
I mean, what are they thinking? Like, this is like when they started calling everybody a superstar. If you start calling everybody a legend, you have no more legends, and you're running pretty low as it is already.
Man, first of all, I couldn't wait for Summer Rae to get fired back then, dude. I'll be honest with you.
I concur with that.
I'm being dead serious. I really did.
Call her legend? Really?
She's a legend, bro. I mean, essentially, anybody that's been there years ago that wasn't even over is a WWE legend now, bro.
I mean, I wouldn't even call Nikki Bella a WWE legend.
She's a legend. How dare you, bro?
When I look at the list of qualifications, she's got way more boxes checked than Summer Rae does.
I'm sure she does. Down there, if you know what I mean. But yeah.
The only way I want a Summer Rae return is if Deputy Dango shows up. I mean,
oh boy.
No.
Yeah.
Who do you got for the women's rumble? I mean, obviously, if Ronda Rousey is available, Ronda Rousey wins this thing without any question.
There's people out there that truly think Mickie James has got a chance. She's getting thrown over like a piece of trash as she got thrown out of the company.
Well, they
same way.
They have rehabilitation groups available for those kind of individuals. I'm sure that John Moxley can direct you to your closest facility.
No.
Who wins this if Ronda Rousey is not in it?
Ronda Rousey. I don't care. It's Ronda Rousey, bro.
I mean,
seriously. Like,
if she's not, if she's not in it, if Rousey's not coming back, who wins it? I mean, I feel like your options are: you have Charlotte,
Cha-cha. Yeah,
you have Charlotte, you have Bianca Belair, who won last year. Do they really want to give her back-to-back wins?
Hell no.
Seems a little surprising if they do it.
Yeah, right.
But it does feel like Bianca and Becky is kind of the path for WrestleMania. But if you bring Rousey back, obviously I want Rousey and Lynch. I don't want Rousey and Charlotte.
No, Rousey and Lynch is much better sort of storyline.
So who else is, I mean, Asuka, should we be talking about Asuka as a potential winner?
We should, but she's not winning it.
Bailey, should we be talking about Bailey as a potential winner?
Potentially.
Because I feel like Sasha Banks was supposed to win the Royal Rumble this year. And now we have to pivot to something else with Sasha injured.
I don't think Bailey's even ready to come back though, dude.
Bobo says Asuka comes back and wins. I mean, if you want to go to Asuka and Charlotte at WrestleMania, I mean, I could see that as a scenario, and then you either get to Bianca and Becky or Rousey and Becky over on Raw. Like I with having the two titles, I feel like you do have to kind of consider, like, we're looking at this as who's going to face Becky. Well, maybe it's who's going to face Charlotte.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you could go with the Charlotte win because it's Charlotte, right?
But then you have to unify the titles. And I don't think that's, I think that's fan driven rumor and innuendo. I don't think the company has any intention of doing that. Just
like Stardust appearing in the Royal Rumble is definitely fan driven. Yeah, that ain't happening. Not Stardust. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's people are really predicting wild shit right now for this Rumble, but it's going to be very disappointing, I think, on who's going to win. I think Rousey, if she doesn't come back at this Rumble, she's done with WWE. She ain't never coming back.
I agree. I feel like now is absolutely the right time for Rousey to win it if she's going to do it. I don't know if she's going to do it. I don't know if she has any desire to come back. I mean, she doesn't really have a reason to come back other than she wants to, and I'm just not sure she wants to.
It's a shame too, because she's naturally great at it, at doing what she does, man. I think she's good as a professional wrestler too, man.
I think,
to be honest with you,
I think she's a big name, gets you mainstream appeal, and WWE needs that more than they need
big
great
time
workers, you know?
Right, and they definitely don't need no princes and shit like that, if you know what I mean. I'm not talking about Finn Balor. I'm talking about our Saudi friends.
Right. Yeah.
Which I shouldn't have even said.
We have to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah. We could get, what's his name winning the Rumble possibly? What's that Saudi kid's name?
Mansoor.
Could possibly win the Royal Rumble if they're paid enough.
Now, if you buy into the rumor and innuendo that they are going to put a Jew in the elimination chamber in Saudi Arabia, I think you have to assume that Goldberg wins that match if he is in it. Goldberg, Seth Rollins?
Oh, no, please.
I mean, is that like a real possibility for WrestleMania, Goldberg versus Seth Rollins?
Every time WrestleMania comes along, man, that's always a possibility, dude.
Ugh.
Yep. Goldberg.
Yeah.
Isn't this the time where he wins the title anyway?
I hated Goldberg in 1997.
Me too, bro. I couldn't stand him. I hated him. Straight up. I was NWO for life, bro.
There is one other guy that is rumored to be making an appearance on Saturday in St. Louis, and his name is The Undertaker.
Can't he rest in peace already, Jargo?
I feel like this is the Hall of Fame announcement. That
right.
they're putting Undertaker into the Hall of Fame. WrestleMania is in Dallas. It makes sense that they
He's
would
a
bring
Texan.
Undertaker back at the Rumble. I do not expect Undertaker to be in the Royal Rumble match.
Please no.
No.
Hell no. But it is WWE and Vince McMahon. They'll pay him enough money to do that.
No. Taker's made his money. I mean, at this point, just right off into the sunset, cowboy. Let it go.
And stay there.
Yep. So that's going to wrap things up for this week's blow off. Thanks for listening and or watching. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. And then you can catch me over on social media at Not Jargo. You can get Jimmy T over at the PWC Network Online, of course, at DJ Mass Effects with an underscore at the beginning and the end. Jimmy, what all you guys got going on over at the PWC this week?
Well, we've got all sorts of stuff going on, man. It's just been so hot for me to even do the editing lately, dude. It's been just so atrocious down here. I'm telling you, bro. I'm sweating just sitting here. It's that bad. But look out for the skirmish. Look out for the extra, and they'll be coming up shortly, any day now, possibly even tonight.
5 degrees where I am, and you're complaining about it being too hot.
And you're in a freaking Jersey. What the fuck?
I'm in the basement, man. It's warm down here. I mean, it's great. The studio's in the basement. Once you get below ground, it retains heat. It's great.
Oh, well, true. It's
also why I bought a brick house,
Yeah, it sucks during summer, though, because it literally absorbs the heat, though, man.
Yeah, but thank God for central air conditioning. No sin greater than central air conditioning.
You prick.
Thank you, Kevin Smith. We will talk to you next Sunday back here for an all-new edition of the Blow Off as we talk about the Royal Rumble match. Until then, we are off like a prom dress. See ya.
Adios.